Ever feel like you're totally stuck between a rock and a hard place? I mean, like literally a rock and a hard place.
Hmm.
Well, get this, that feeling, way older than you think. We are diving deep into the myth of Atlas today.
Oh, love it.
But hold on, forget the whole muscle man holding up the world thing, okay? We're going way deeper than that. We're going to unpack what his burden like really represents,
Yeah.
And how it connects to like your everyday struggles.
It really is wild how these super old stories still kind of resonate with us today,
Right.
Those people, they think Atlas and they just picture like pure strength.
Oh yeah, total meathead holding a giant ball.
Right, but there's like so much more to it than that.
Way more. And we're going to use your sources today to kind of unpack all that. So we all know the image, right? Atlas forever hunched over, holding up the sky. But get this, even before the whole sky thing went down, Atlas was already like dealing with some major internal dilemmas.
Yeah, totally. He wasn't just some like mindless muscle mountain,
Let me tell you.
The sources actually describe him as this like deep philosophical dude, like way before being a brooding philosopher was cool.
Okay, I love that. So
Mhm.
what kind of stuff was he like really grappling with? What was this Titan stressing over?
Well, there's this one source that mentions his like total fascination with astronomy, with understanding, the planets, the stars, like the whole order of the cosmos.
Right.
But at the same time, he was super troubled by the Titans' rebellion against the Olympian gods. Like deep down, he wasn't sure he was really on board with the whole overthrow Zeus thing.
Oh, talk about a rock and a hard place. I mean, you've got family on one side, right? But then this like nagging feeling that maybe, just maybe, they're,
Yeah.
not the good guys.
Yeah.
We've all been there, right? That moment when you got to choose between what's, comfortable and what you actually believe.
Exactly. It's that like classic dilemma. Do you stick with your crew even when it feels wrong, or do you like take a stand even if you know you might lose everything?
It's tough.
Yeah. And it's something we all face, in different ways.
So even before the punishment, right? Atlas is already carrying a pretty heavy load.
Yeah.
Like just the weight of his choice, the pressure to like fit in, knowing that if he makes a move, it could change, like everything.
And that's a really, really important point. Like Atlas's story, it's a good reminder that sometimes the heaviest burdens we carry, they aren't even physical.
That's real.
It's the burdens of our own minds, our doubts, our worries, the weight of our choices.
And that's something we can all relate to, right? That feeling in your gut, like when you've got a big decision to make and everyone else is just chilling, but you've got, the weight of the world, well, at least your world on your shoulders. Okay, so we talk about like all of Atlas's inner struggles, before the whole sky holding thing. But now let's get into like the aftermath.
Okay.
Because this is where it gets really interesting, really psychologically kind of wild.
Yeah, it's like Zeus just designed this like crazy psychological experiment. Take this super powerful being, right? Totally isolate him and then give him like a completely impossible task.
Yeah.
And then like what happens to the mind in that situation?
It's got to mess you up, right? Just picture it. Endless centuries, just you and this like insane weight, no escaping it. Our sources really highlight that isolation as like a key part of Atlas's punishment.
And they're really onto something. Solitude can like seriously mess with you. Think about, solitary confinement.
Right.
Or even like those silent meditation retreats. You take away all the external distractions and all of a sudden your thoughts are your whole world, and your world can get really weird.
Okay, so picture Atlas, right? He's carrying the weight of the heavens, totally alone with his thoughts for like centuries. How does that even change a being? How does that change his perspective on everything?
So at first, total resentment, like obviously, right?
Oh, yeah.
But then something really interesting happens.
Okay.
It's like a switch flips inside him and he actually starts to find meaning in all of it.
Wait, hold on. You're saying he goes from like, ugh, I hate this, to actually, there's a bigger purpose here.
Yeah.
What changes for him?
It's not so much about like enjoying the weight itself, but it's how he chooses to think about it, like how we frame our challenges, how we find meaning in the things we have to deal with. It's like that saying, you can't always choose what happens to you, but you can choose how you react to it.
Right.
But like in Atlas's case, it's, on a cosmic scale.
And let's be real, facing down, like thousands of years of solitude would definitely put your perspective to the test. But that brings up a question for me. Was this Zeus's plan all along? Was the punishment really about suffering? Or was it just a really, really roundabout way to force Atlas into like some serious introspection, some serious growth?
Now that is an interesting question. It's like Zeus was playing cosmic therapist, And Atlas's sentence was really just dot therapy. What if Zeus knew that true growth, like real growth, only comes from confronting the hard stuff, our limitations, our place in the universe, all of it? And maybe, just maybe, the only way to get to that level of understanding is through, struggle.
Wow.
Makes you think.
It really does.
Wait.
Okay, so Atlas is stuck. It's like cosmic solitary confinement with like literally the weight of the world on his shoulders. He goes through all the resentment and somehow he finds meaning in it. But then something happens that like totally changes his situation, right?
Yeah.
Heracles enters the picture. So Heracles shows up, right, on a mission to get those like famous gold apples.
Right, from the Garden of the Hesperides.
Yeah, the apples, which of course happens to be in, Atlas's backyard.
Yeah.
Talk about a bad day at the office.
Totally. But remember, Heracles isn't just there to like grab some snacks.
Yeah.
His visit, it's huge for Atlas.
Yeah.
Because for the first time, probably in like forever, Atlas actually has a choice.
Because he could just be like, Heracles, not my problem, man. You want apples, go get them yourself. I've got this guy,
Exactly. But he doesn't. He agrees to help, which means setting the sky down. Even if it's just for a minute, he gets to feel true freedom again. Like a taste of what his life could have been.
That's gotta be intense. Just imagine that weight lifting off, feeling that freedom after like all that time. And here's the thing, he could just walk away. He could just leave Heracles hanging.
Oh, totally. He totally could.
And that's what makes his decision so powerful. Atlas chooses to go back to the burden. He chooses to pick up the sky again.
Knowing he could just leave it.
It's like finding like $100, right? Instead of buying yourself that like fancy coffee maker you've been wanting, you just like donate it.
Yeah.
You found something more in that struggle, something more meaningful than just being free.
And that's it, right? That's the heart of the whole Atlas story. It's not about getting away from the hard things in life. Those are always going to be there. It's about finding the strength inside yourself to deal with them, to find meaning even when it feels impossible.
So it's not about the weight, it's how you carry it.
Yeah.
Man, the ancient Greeks, they really knew how to tell a story, huh?
They knew what they were doing. And like, we're still talking about it today, right? Because let's be real, we all have our own skies to hold up, responsibilities, challenges, the things that weigh us down.
It's true. Everyone's got something. The real question is, how are you going to carry yours?
Exactly.
Will you let it trust you?
Yeah.
Or will you find that like inner strength, that Atlas level resilience that lets you not just, survive the weight, but maybe even rise above it? That is something to think about.
It really is.
What sky are you holding up today? And how are you going to tap into your own inner Atlas, to find the strength and the meaning in all of it?